They don't get cold. The water is always moving through them, and it never freezes, no matter what the weather is. I need to fill up some jugs now. I can't keep talking about water all day. Need to go work. That's Kilcher. He was once a popular star of Alaska: The Last Frontier, but he was sentenced after a string of serious accusations. He has a tough image, but he has been accused of misconduct on and off film. The quick end of the long-running show led to more rumors, and many people directly blamed him. But what did happen? What are the facts about the accusations and the sentence he was given? Stay with us as we figure out how Kilcher lost his job. Legal fights. People know Kilcher for his role as the family on the Discovery show Alaska: The Last Frontier. They live in the middle of nowhere in Alaska, far from any modern comforts. The show followed them as they fished, hunted, and farmed to make it through the harsh winters, and taught them what it meant to really live off the land. On screen, Kilcher never seemed scared. Nothing could get him down. He was always seen on the show climbing cliffs, making cabins in the middle of nowhere, or hunting in the cold. Outside of work, though, his life took a shocking turn. He was someone who could handle danger, but nothing had prepared him for what he was about to face. Fans of the show noticed that seemed different as the seasons went on. He became more quiet. Then there were legal problems, which caused one of the biggest changes in the show's history. He had built his whole life around being strong and able to survive, so going to court was the last thing he thought would make him feel down. Let's look at what happened that got in trouble with the law, what happened off camera, and what was said about him. Then what really happened to him. Let's learn more about it. When he was in a bad accident in June 2015 that almost killed him, that was the first sign of trouble. Fell off a cliff that was almost 40 feet high while climbing in Otter Cove. Because his injuries were so bad, people thought he had died. He broke his arm and even hurt both lungs when he fell straight down. He also broke his ankles, hips, and lungs in the fall. It was a matter of life and death. And his family spent months in the hospital and even longer getting better. Not only but also the rest of the Kilcher family went through a terrible thing. What caused the accident? And his friend Mark were hiking in Otter Cove when it got dark. He lost his balance and fell off the cliff because it was dark. Mark was lucky to have a satellite phone with him, so he called for help. Quickly, paramedics came by helicopter and rushed him to the hospital to get help. Things would have been much worse without Mark. Jane, on the other hand, told them how she knew about her husband's accident. She said that she got a call in the middle of the night while and his friend were hiking. When she picked up the phone, she was told about her husband's fall. He told his fans about the crash on Facebook through his wife Jane. Eventually, told his fans how he was doing, and shared pictures of himself and his ex-girlfriend from his hospital bed. After a year had passed since his fall, he shared another picture of himself in the hospital bed with a lot of motivational words next to it. He began by saying that the accident had really made him humble. He also said that even though the past year had been hard for him, he was still happy to be with his family and friends. He also thanked his friends at the end because they had been positive about him the whole time. He also said that his wounds are slowly getting better, even though there were a lot of them. He had to slow down after the crash. He couldn't build or hunt like he used to, and he couldn't film like he used to. Fans were worried about while he wasn't on the show, but he tried to stay in touch through social media, writing about his progress and thanking those who helped him. But this is where the trouble starts. chose to sue the Otter Cove Resort because it was there that he fell. He asked for $100,000 to make up for the harm the event had caused him. He said that the problem could have been avoided if the resort had a good warning sign. He also said that the resort was very dishonest because it didn't have any safety measures for the guests. The lodge management's answer was what was expected. They said was careless while hiking and caused the accident, so they wouldn't take any responsibility for the fall. The fall was a terrible event in his life, but it wasn't the first time he got into trouble with the law. No one saw that coming later than they did. What wrongdoing did do? Let's talk about what made him go there. In 2014, went on a black bear shooting trip in a faraway part of Alaska. The group didn't walk into the woods like most hunters do. Instead, they used a helicopter to get there. That's a big problem in Alaska. There are strict rules in the state that protect wildlife and allow fair chase hunting. Helicopters can't be used for shooting, not even to spot animals, track them, or bring hunters, hunting gear, or raw game to and from the field. When the Alaska State Troopers got information about the flight, they began an investigation. According to the charges, he and the other Kilchers were taken by chopper to Bradley Lake in September 2014 to hunt black bears for an episode that aired in January 2015. Wilma TV, the company that shot the episode, was also charged with a misdemeanor hunting violation for taking or trying to take game in a way that was against the law. A year later, in 2015, Atsley was charged with hunting without a license, which is against Alaska's game laws. But how did the police know that the Kilchers were breaking the law by hunting? Who let the news get out? Megan Peters, a spokesman for the Alaska State Troopers, said a former worker at a production company told the police about the illegal hunt. Wilma TV hired him as a doctor on the set of the movie. He was a homer. The TV director, Wilma, told the medic not to tell the helicopter company that was hired to film that there would be hunting. The doctor didn't work on the project, but he did tell Alaska Wildlife Trooper Trent Chuyakowski about the alleged killing in September 2014. In January 2015, Chuyakowski saw the episode Fall Bear Fall, in which the Kilchers shot at a black bear. He immediately remembered the story and called the helicopter company. The company said they would fly the Kilchers and the production group to Bradley Lake, but they didn't know about the planned hunting trip. There was no problem with Chuyakowski talking to two Wilma TV producers. They told him that they had used a float plane to hunt in a previous show and thought that using a helicopter would be the same. During a conversation with Chuyakowski, Atsley Kilcher said that the producers had pushed him to get a bear. People who made the show told him that going over by chopper was against the law, but he told them he should just go anyway. The Kilchers' lawyer, Kevin Fitzgerald, said they didn't do anything wrong because the charge against them said they were chasing a black bear, which they never did. The episode said that the Kilchers were going after an animal, but they never actually tried to take that animal. Fitzgerald came to the conclusion that sometimes, even reality TV shows don't show what really happens, but the court records showed that Atsley wasn't really blamed for shooting the bear from the chopper. The charge instead was for using an aeroplane to get to where he was shooting. Lawyer Lee fully cooperated in court and didn't try to dismiss the facts, but told them what happened from his point of view. He said he wasn't going to break the law, and that he was just looking at the land from the air. No shooting was going on during the flight. To the law though, purpose doesn't change the fact that a violation happened. The court said Atsley broke the law when he used a helicopter to get to a shooting spot. During a sentencing hearing on February 16, 2015, Atsley Kilcher was given a punishment that included a $1,500 fine by Homer District Court Judge Margaret Murphy. For the same reason, Wilma TV was also fined $17,500. At first this case didn't get much attention across the country, but fans of Alaska, The Last Frontier, were shocked by the news. The Discovery Channel didn't say anything about the case in public, and shooting for the show kept going. The show did change though. No one knew what was going on behind the scenes at that time. Fans noticed that Atsley was quiet for a while after the sentence. There were no posts on his Instagram about shooting trips, building projects, or family time like there used to be. That's when Alaska's wild man learned that no one is above the law, not even those who live off the grid. People were also told that reality TV doesn't always show the whole story. Even though the judge gave a pretty light term, the case was a turning point in the production of the show. Once the bad press was over, the case wasn't easy for the show. Alaska began to look like it was there. It was slowly ending on the last border. Fans were wondering if his slow exit from the show was because of the court case. The Discovery Channel never said for sure if the legal problem had an effect on the show, but the timing made it impossible to ignore. From the outside it looked like they were in charge of everything, but in 2022, fans got some shocking news. Alaska: The Last Frontier was over all of a sudden. A lot of fans were confused about why the show had to end so quickly, and they had a lot of questions. Is it the legal problem that stopped the show from being made? Was it the scores, or was there something more going on behind the scenes? Let's find out what happened with Alaska: The Last Frontier. Why Alaska: The Last Frontier didn't go on. On December 29, 2011, Alaska: The Last Frontier played on the Discovery Channel. It became a big hit right away.